But the issue is, you might as well get some services.
Every day. That's the worst socialist system in the world.
But that's what I'm saying. This isn't even socialism.
Wall Street is the most egregious socialistic parasite on the entire globe. That's socialism.
But, Max, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying they steal all our money and give it to elites. At least in France, they take the money and actually give it to some of the people. But what I'm saying is they try to plant GMO, they burn it down. They try to do something corrupt, the people riot. And so you're right about that. You were telling me during the break that you were in a French coffee shop or something and heard something interesting.
Oh, yeah, they were talking about Alex Jones. I couldn't believe it. A couple of French people were talking about Alex Jones, so I broke in with my limited French, and we had an interesting conversation. But
I'm just curious. I mean, what were they saying?
Well, they were fascinated by really the film. The Obama Deception is being viewed here in France by people, and there, I guess, some people have some versions with subtitles out there or something, but they knew significant parts about it. And here, in Europe, Obama was very, very seductive, and he really won over the Europeans. And so this is something that has come up, and it's really a topic of discussion. That this whole reversal, the fact that his popularity has been dropping, and what does this mean? And we're in love with him, and how did we think about this? And then the Obama Deception film came up, because how many views does it have on the net? Like 20 million views? So
yeah, it's more than that, but yeah, that's conservative. Well, the issue is, it wasn't their love of Obama, it was their hatred of Bush. And I found that in my own life. I'll hate somebody so much that I end up being friends with that person's enemy, and that person turns out being just as bad. And I think that's what it is that Bush was so horrible, people associated all the tyranny with him, so went running to Obama, and he was just a pimp who then got us in the hotel room and punched us in the face and knocked our teeth out, and now we're crawling around on the ground bleeding, and he's going, yeah, bitch, you like it. And I think people are finally going, no, I don't like it. I'm leaving. So we're running out the door in our skirt, crying in the rain, and he's slapping us with a coat hanger, and I just think it's time for people to wake up.
People in France, contrary to popular belief, are really love America in a lot of ways. I mean, there's huge boulevards in the middle of Paris, Franklin Roosevelt Boulevard, JFK Boulevard, and, the French are the ones that financed the American Revolution, and as a result, their own economy went into free fall. If it wasn't for France, there would be no America.
They want to like the United States. And so the Anglophiles have always hated that, so that's why they love to demonize France on our news, because they helped found America, and the British government hates that. Max Keiser, he knows what he's talking about. Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com, HomeGain.com. Check them out today. Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com are the websites. $1,000 contest. Need to have them up on YouTube in the next 4 or 5 days. I need to judge them by next Wednesday. But I'll watch them right up to the day. I'm going to pick the best video that I think gets the word out about Obama being a liar and a criminal and a front man for the New World Order. But let's not just blame him. Let's get past him to the real elites and bring them to justice. Max Keiser is our guest. Max, I want to go to calls. Doug and Dan and Chris and Dr. Gushin and others that are holding toll-free number to join us, 1-800-259-9231. But you've got a pretty good brain. I mean, I've been reading some of your writings from years ago, and almost all of it came true. What do you think's going to happen in the next few years? Because I knew that Obama had this godlike level, but that as soon as he proved he was a liar, that would dissipate. The bigger they are, the harder they'll fall. But it also seems that Obama's controllers are going to want to stage something. A new war with Iran, an economic collapse, more economic terrorism, domestic stage terror attacks. I mean, what do you see happening in the next couple of years with the people taking over all these town halls, going after both parties, and how the empire is going to strike back?
Well, as you know, as I've said on your show before, I think that as the economy continues to collapse, there's going to be a big push across the country, state to state, to legalize gambling. And that gambling is going to be more of a factor in the economy. There's going to be more ways to gamble, specifically online. The reason you don't have online gambling right now is because of the mob in Vegas and New Jersey. They control gambling in those two cities.
So you think the revolution is just us turning into total slobs? You think we're going to get worse?
Yeah. I think that the combination of online gambling, cheap, pharmaceutically engineered, over-the-counter, mood-altering drugs, and terrible food products, high fructose corn syrup-based food products. You put all those things into a cocktail of silliness, and you end up with a population that is completely strung out and just trying to gamble their way toward making. Basically, it's indentured servitude is what we're heading toward, because the debts are never going to be paid. They're simply never going to be paid. And as the banks reorganize the system right now, they're putting all the bad bets into the publicly held banks. Like, for example, in the UK, this Northern Rock, which was one of the first banks to go under, they just announced that they've got 3 times the bad toxic assets that they thought that they had. But that's a publicly owned bank. So now it's really the public that owns those toxic assets. The private banks are the banks that are held by the runners of the Gulag casino state. And, of course, they hold the performing assets and the performing loans. So they're dividing the bad assets from the good assets, and they're keeping the ones that are still relatively high profile and performing, and they're putting all the really trashy junk, grade Z, never ever going to be paid back into the public domain and the public ownership. And the public will never pay back those loans, and the public will continuously get themselves further and further into debt. Look at the Cash for Clunkers program is a perfect example. They encourage people to take cars that they own 100%, trade them in, and put themselves into debt. Like now they get a new car, but they're on debt. They've increased their debt pile, and the debt levels are continuing to increase.
Max Keiser,
yeah.
It sounds like you're describing hell. And on top of that, now the police, the government, the minions, 10% of Texans with arrest warrants, more fines, more fees. The other part of the equation is those of us that don't want to drink corn syrup, be zombies, eat GMO, we're going to be like Planet of the Apes, being chased by the CPS and police with them with nets scooping us up to take us back to the FEMA camp so they get more chips to buy big gulp beers and sit there buying hookers at the slot machines. I mean, just a hell force of like lobotomized zombies. It's already like that going, government God, give me your money. So using these hordes of piratical scum to steal everything to then give it to the banks. We'll be right back.